Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the Art House. It's been a while since we've done a video. I've been very busy and active on the Sorcery Contested Realm Community Facebook group and on the Collector Arthouse Discord, but have not had a chance to really to do a whole lot of recordings. I kind of tend to like to do the lives anyway, and we had some really fun, successful lives. The last one I think was with Joey, or was it Jurgen from Nerd and Proud of It? Nerd and Proud of It. Nerd and Proud of It. Good YouTube channel. Go check him out. He covers a lot of Magic the Gathering, collecting, and sorcery. He's into sorcery now. But anyway, there'll be more lives to come. Discussions, interviews with artists, interviews with other community members. I'm trying to line up some retailers and LGSs. I want to have a roundtable panel with maybe 3 or 4 different LGSs. So I reached out to a few folks. I put a message out on the Facebook page, the community Facebook page, and hope to get that scheduled soon. But what we've been talking about in the Discord is where are we at with sorcery? You know, there's been a lot of discussion every day. Collector Arthouse Discord is very active. We're talking about, recently we've been talking about the beta allocations. We're starting to get word from the 2 U.S. distributors, which is Southern Hobby and Peach State, or something like that, PhD, whatever that stands for. Those are the 2 main distributors for the U.S., right? And it seems that information is coming back for Southern Hobby. Stores are finding out how much of their ask, so to speak, is being fulfilled. And the numbers are mixed, you know, kind of alarming. The innkeepers are getting their guarantees, but it seems like allocations are very tight beyond that. So that sparked a lot of discussion with what is the strategic plan of sorcery? Where's it headed? What is it trying to accomplish? How is it executing in the various business facets and on the, you know, the critical metrics of art, quality, and gameplay? So I put out a survey. We talked about it first in the Collector Arthouse Discord, and I'm kind of smirking here because I went in and asked the same question on the Sorcery Contested Realm Community Facebook group, and there's this card called Giant Babe. And this is from the game, what was this game from? Guardians TCG, right? So that's where the Brahm card is from, the alternate art curio by Brahm, the artist, you know, and there's this other artwork called Giant Babe from that game, which is pretty hilarious. So I just posted that for attention. But as the survey goes here, I was asking the community here. I got 10 different respondents, right? So first I want to let you guys know what is the question that was asked, and what is the feedback we got. All right. So it says, "Hi all. I'm running a survey for a potential new video series at Collector Arthouse YouTube about Sorcery TCG market sentiment. I'm looking for input on the question below and will summarize the results without attributing it to any given person. So I'm going to try to keep this anonymous and not say who said what. And you can respond with your grades and add some comments to clarify like how you score in these different areas, right? So on a scale from A+ to ZF, that was a typo.
You folks fell on your face. You get an F- in my book.
A+ to F is what I asked for. How would you score sorcery, meaning Eric's Curiosa, the creator of the company, in the following categories: art, gameplay, communications, marketing, community management, and then customer service? So for customer service, I ended up dropping that one because that was kind of, you know, some people haven't had a reason to deal with it, right? So it's kind of mixed. The gist basically was that sometimes the company is difficult to get a hold of. Some people have had challenges figuring out where to go for community service type support. Or the responses have been slow. I think that's a function of the team being small and very busy. But most folks said that once they did get in touch with somebody, the customer service was very good and their problem was resolved to their satisfaction. So that was actually positive and a good thing. All right, so let's go to the spreadsheet and I'll summarize here. So I kind of, again, I asked for A+ through F, right? So I got a lot of A++, S, B+, B-, C, D, even some Fs, right? So I kind of simplified that to an A, B, C, D, F, right? So just a 5-tier score. And then I put the number corresponding to the letter in this table across 10 respondents. And I think I eliminated one because the guy only answered like 3 of the 5 questions. So it's kind of difficult to, you know, summarize the metrics and take averages and things, right? So across these 10 columns, you have the answers from the 10 respondents. And here are your 4 categories. Again, I eliminated community management, and then I color coded the results, right? And then I took an average score and I correlated the number to the grade. So A was 1, B 2, C 3, D 4, F 5. Right, so if it graded out to like a 3 on average, that's a C. If it was 4 and change, that's a D. If it was 1 and change, that's a A. All right, and then I color coded it for convenience, and then I made this handy dandy little boomer table that summarizes the results. Right, so overall, on average, across the 10 respondents, we scored an A in art, A in gameplay, C in communications, and D in marketing. That's been a constant and consistent gripe over recent months, right? So probably not too much surprise here. I did have some summary takeaway comments, some thematic things that a lot of the people responded with that I kind of want to go through and share that data and also kind of give my own insights and takes for what it's worth, right? So for art, unanimously, everyone said art was, I think at worst, like an A minus. And then so most people said A plus. So some of the key takeaways, the quality and stylistic diversity is a huge strength. Obviously, we have several, like many different artists, right? Like in the range of 20 to 30 artists, closer to 30, if you start counting some of the, Brahm was a surprise artist. I guess you'd count him. And then 20 plus other mainstream artists, right? And all of them have a very unique style. And Eric said that when he sought out artists, he did that intentionally to have a good breadth of stylistic diversity across the set. And one of the key things that people pointed out is that they are able to easily identify the artist and the cards at a glance. So that's very important in playing a TCG. You don't want the cards to be very samey and homogenous. You want them to be very easily recognizable in the state of gameplay, right? And then as a collector, that's a very beautiful thing too. We have a lot of very high quality art, and it's really awesome that a lot of people are taking notice of who the artist is, which is something you can't take for granted in TCGs. A lot of people enjoy the art and they look at it and they're great, but they don't look for the artist name and they don't bother to learn about the artist. And that's kind of what this channel's about, and what I'm about as an art enthusiast and collector. And just someone that really appreciates the art aspect of the TCGs and the fantasy art industry in general. All right, so tremendous art. Some people said that's like the biggest strength of the game in their opinion. Others are really loving the gameplay as well. So gameplay also scored an A, which is awesome. Those two big things, art and gameplay, right? And then you get into some of the business dimensions. But in terms of gameplay, a lot of people said it's fun, it's strategic, it's unique, it's imaginative, So that's a common thing. It's very flavorful. When you're playing a game, it tells a story, right? And I played the game. A lot of people just think I'm a business or whatever, or I'm just into art, I'm just into collecting. But I played the game, and it was pretty freaking awesome. I could tell it had a lot of flavor and storytelling dynamics to it just by looking at the cards. I would say the tightness or the correlation between the card title, the illustration, what the illustration concept is communicating or telling you, the type line text, and the game mechanic, and then oftentimes the flavor text where flavor text was included, right? But you don't really fully appreciate that until you actually play the game and you realize and understand the multi-dimensional aspects of it, where you could burrow underground, or if you're playing a water deck, you submerge in the water, That adds a lot of cool flavor. I'm thinking of one card as an example. There's these quarrelsome kobolds, right? And Matthias Friss is one of the artists of the game. He posted it randomly on the community group, Facebook group page recently, and said, I think this card's hilarious. And it is. And I gave him the context of that. That artwork's done by Alan Pollock. And you have these kobolds fighting. There was a mob of them, right, just going after each other. And as I recall, the game effect is at the end of each turn, it either does 2 damage to a nearby target, or it does 2 damage to itself if it can't target something else. So the flavor of that is that these quarrelsome or quarreling kobolds cannot help but just throw blows and reach out and hit somebody, even themselves, And so Alan's concept on that was based on the incident in British Parliament where a fight basically broke out in court, or some kind of political session they were having, and these old guys were throwing haymakers at each other. So pretty hilarious. And the card reflects the illustration. The name of the card, the type line text always has something hilarious, and it just, the way the card works in the game is just really fun and memorable, right? So that's a great thing it has going for it. The one knock on gameplay is that several respondents of the 10 said that the game has room for improvement in terms of rules understanding and discoverability of how to get answers to questions for rules. So there's been some content creators doing that. The company's been putting out shorts and little videos and things describing some of the game dynamics and showcasing those, which is awesome. That could probably be addressed through the rule book, but it's typical of a new game. It takes some time to learn the mechanics, but the gameplay in Sorcery has a lot of depth. It has a lot of rules. They're not always perfectly clear. This has been very consistent since the early days, about 2 years ago in early testing. People always harped on, like, how does this work? How does that work? How can we make this more clear? I think they're trying to do that on Curiosa.io, so hopefully that continues to improve, and you can easily find answers to common questions without having to play and work with an expert. All right. So again, kudos to community to taking that on to some extent, and hopefully the company itself can build that out in greater depth with their website, which was another suggestion. All right. So getting on to communications, communications scored a C, kind of middle of the road. This has been another gripe. So let's get into some of the comments here. Over reliance on Discord, which is, I think that's a fair statement. A lot of people learn about what's going on with the game from the community managers and some of the employees through the Discord. So if you're not on Discord, you feel very detached and out of the loop. Or if you're not on the Sorcery Contested Realm community group, I share a lot of the announcements that I find in Discord on that group, and I've been active every single day since that Facebook group was created. Coming up on almost 2 years, which is hard to believe. I think it's been like, I don't know, like almost 2 years. I think it'll be 2 years in January. So again, like every single day we're on there, other people are on there asking questions, sharing insights and things like that. But a lot of the information flow comes from Discord announcements. You don't always get them through a Kickstarter campaign announcement. And at this point we're beyond Kickstarter, so that doesn't reach the full sorcery market. So the company really needs to figure out, how do you reach the full sorcery market, get communications out to everyone consistently and at the same time. And how do you find that? And they have various social media platforms. It kind of just has to be shotgunned across all of them, I feel. So you hit people that are on Facebook, people that are on Discord, people that are on your email list, right? Email's great for games. That's a way to communicate. So that's one. They say it's better. Communication is better with players than it is with game stores. So yeah, I mean, I've heard this gripe from a lot of the game stores. Again, they feel detached because they're not on Discord. They don't know how to reach the employees. A lot of times people reach out to me and say, like, hey, how do I get in touch with someone about customer service or about what's going on with the innkeeper kits or allocations or whatever, like promotional things that they need to promote the game and advertise it in their store. I refer them to the Discord, and sometimes they say they're not on Discord, or to the website and the mailing address that they have on there. But the company gets inundated with email requests. It's a small team, so sometimes communications lag or there isn't a response, and that causes a lot of angst and frustration. So I think that's probably a growing pain in an area improvement for the company that is valid. Let's say, and some people said it has improved in some ways from the early days. It was a lot worse, and it's gotten a little better recently. So positive trend is good. Poor expectations management. All right, so this is a good one. We've had several delays at this point. There's very little known about the future plans or goals or vision of the company. We don't know what's going to happen next year even. When is the Ed Bear Jr. mini set coming out? When is Arthurian Legends coming out? We haven't had a beta release yet, so it's a little difficult to kind of criticize too hard here, but people that are going to play this game, people that are going to invest, speculate, collect this game, they want some idea of the roadmap, vision, and goals of the company. Is this intended to be a large, big game, which would make it more investable? Like, what are their growth goals? What is the cadence of release? They said once a year, right? Is it really going to be once a year? How does the mini set play into that? How are you going to retain customer interest? We don't really know anything about the strategies to do that. And stores too, they need reassurances too. Like how do you carry a product that only comes out once a year? That's another question that often gets asked. How does that a viable business? Like, why should they dedicate their time doing learn the plays and trying to get people to play the game if they potentially will not get product for several months on end until that next release? Or will it be printed in waves? So product is always available. A lot of people are worried about the beta allocations and thinking it could sell out quick. And if that happens, then what? Like, can you only buy the product on a secondary market, or will it be future print waves? Maybe that's a piece of information that the company could share, and stores, could decide if it's in their best interest to carry the game or not. And hopefully they do. And want to support and promote it, and it can, grow their geographic sorcery, and Eric's Curiosa can grow their geographic footprint. So more stores carry it, which means that more players can go to more closer local stores and find people to play with, right? Instead of having to travel like an hour. Like even in the early days of Flesh and Blood, like you'd have to go like an hour to find your closest store at best. Sometimes it was a lot worse than that. So that's a challenge of a startup company. All right. I think that hits it on communications. And then lastly, for marketing, several people said no one's ever heard of this game. We got like our bubble world. Definitely in the Discords, in the Collector Arthouse Discord, there's like 850 people. My community group on Facebook has 2,500 people, a little over 2,500, which is great. That's great for like a new game that just came out. That's huge, actually. But it's still tiny in the grand scheme of things, right? So a lot of stores have never heard of it. A lot of artists tell me they go to local game stores and they wouldn't have the product in the store yet, but a lot of them are like, sorcery, what is that? Never heard of it, So word's got to get out, that happens through marketing. How do you scale marketing? I know there's going to be a lot of good grassroots marketing. People will see the product. They have seen the product and they love the art, right? It catches your eye right away. You play the game. It's fun as hell. I played it with the guy that won at Gen Con, Jarrett Angerworm, on the Discords. I loved the game. It had a lot of great depth. It was really fun. It was challenging, but not too hard to learn. And it had a lot of strategic depth to it and really cool. Every turn like gives you a lot to think about, a lot of choice. It's not like really heavily card draw dependent like I thought it might be. I would say like once you get like a few turns in, you have enough resources on the board and enough like minions in play, maybe spells in hand, auras in play, different things, a lot of different choices on how to navigate the realm, how to move your minions or creatures around the realm, what to attack, what not to attack, how your opponent might counter things on their next turn, what they might be holding in hand. Should you draw from the spell book or your Atlas deck? A lot of choices to be made, which makes it a lot of fun and almost like chess-like too, between the breadth of choice, I guess I would say, and the spatial dynamic of working across a grid, a grid board, so to speak, right? So it's really, really fun, really awesome. And then on marketing, some people said it's largely driven by the community and its content creators and not so much happening from the company, right? So there's been some Q&As. There's a bunch of YouTube events leading up to the Kickstarter release. That really hasn't happened since. Maybe the team's just been super busy with trying to get ready for beta. And they've announced a lot of initiatives, partnerships. And it's clear there's a lot going on behind the scenes. A lot of deals being worked out and ideas for expansion, like things being put in place to plant the foundation for growth, for better immersive experiences, better in-store experiences, or at-home kitchen table experience, right? Those seeds are being planted, and it's evident that the team is doing things, but we don't have an idea of the cohesive strategy or what's coming next, or even short, mid, or long-term goals. That is all a bit of a shot in the dark, honestly. We just don't know. There hasn't been a lot said, but we just love what we've seen to date, product-wise. Art, gameplay, we get frustrated about communications and marketing. We're kind of in wait-and-see mode, I guess, but people will get impatient, right? Hopefully, a lot of that will come to fruition through beta release, and soon thereafter, we'll see the player response. We'll see how wide and far product gets spread, who has access to it. Hopefully people that invested early on are able to get it, but hopefully you're able to reach new markets, new stores, expand that geographic footprint, and grow this game across the United States, across the world. Like Australia is a tiny market, New Zealand, Asia was fairly small in the Kickstarter stage. Europe has a very, very passionate following, but it's very small relative to the U.S. And there's concerns there about how much product those folks will get and how much access they'll have to it, and if they can get it affordably, because they want to get it in country in Europe, because it's very expensive to import and ship and pay the import taxes and the VAT and all this stuff, right? So there you have it, guys. Art, off the charts. Gameplay, awesome. Those are the foundational two most important things at this stage. But now you need to start getting into business execution, communications, marketing, retain your current customer base, figure out how you're going to grow. How are you going to entice new collectors to collect, new players to play, take the time to learn to play the game, to invest some money in buying decks and buying packs and cards, and dedicating the time to do it? And how you get more stores to carry the game. If stores are even your retail strategy, is it? I don't know. There's store kits, but it seems like, and the innkeeper guarantees help the people that were in early on, but how do you help these new stores that didn't have those guarantees, that are starting to get information on allocation and finding out that unless they have large spend history with the distributors, they might not get enough product to really make a dent, to be incentivized to introduce players to it. So was that the intent of beta? We don't know. Is revised the mainstream rollout intent? We don't know. Is there a revised? I don't know if it was 100% confirmed, but we expect beta, and then most people expect, either Arthurian Legends next or the mini set, and then Arthurian Legends, or vice versa, and then probably a revised. And maybe that is the broad scale mainstream push. And for beta, all that they really have the bandwidth to do as a company that's like 10 employees or less is to get more product out there to supplement the Kickstarter alpha release, get more into the hands of people that underinvested in the Kickstarter and want more and are loving the product and just need more of it to start building out deck diversity and new gameplay experiences and whatnot, and reach people that found out about it after Kickstarter and were quickly priced out because the prices of alpha boxes became pretty high pretty quick, and same with the singles. So a lot of things in place. TCG player coming, Cardio, I think it's called, for the social play. That'll be interesting. Release, allocations, distribution through mainstream distributors around the world. Stores coming online. They'll be getting their innkeeper kits, so maybe they'll have some in-store, like learn to play type events and promotional things or tournaments to win some of the prize cards or play mats or whatever. So we're on the cusp, right, guys? Beta's coming out in November, about a month and a half. A lot of interesting thoughts there. Strengths, weaknesses, business execution, mixed bag. Some people are understanding, others are frustrated. Art and gameplay, everybody loves it. We're super passionate, super excited. Please let me know in your thoughts. What do you think? How would you score art, gameplay, communications, marketing? Just let me know A, B, C, D, or F. All right? And provide an explanation too. I want to hear, why do you love the art? What about it do you love? Why do you love the gameplay? What about the gameplay is fun, cool, different? How is it different from other games? Why do you like this game? Do you play other games? How does it compare to those games? Or why is this uniquely different? Why are you going to play both or one or the other? Communications, marketing. How do you think the company's business execution is in general? Do you think it's strong? Or if you think it's weak, what solutions or ideas do you have to address that? Let's give the feedback to the company. Tell it how it is. Nothing's ever perfect, especially in an indie TCG startup. It's a very competitive industry. We all desperately want the game to succeed and do very, very well so this beautiful art can continue to be made and so we could have fun playing the game, right? So voice your concerns, give the feedback. It's be constructive. Don't, target individual people, or don't be too aggressive, but, be constructive. What's working well? What's not working well? What ideas do you have to try to improve? I think that's very healthy and helpful to give that feedback to the company. All right. I guess that's it for now. Stay tuned. Join the community group, Sorcery Contestant Realm Facebook community group. Join the Collector Arthouse Discord. The links are always in the comments area of these YouTube videos. And, come let us know your thoughts. Every day we're shooting the shit, talking, having fun, enjoying the game, talking about the future, speculating nonstop. So hope you could join us, and thank you for tuning in as always. We'll try to get those live scheduled soon, guys. We'll see what the calendar looks like, but there'll be some fun conversations coming up. So definitely stay tuned to the channel. Please like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time. Take it easy.